Hi, my name's Ricky and welcome to my channel Gig in 60 Seconds. Today is a video all about Bullet For My Valentine, what I like about them, how I get into their music and 7 of my favourite songs by them. So I'm quite excited to do this video. I wanted to do it because the Poisoned Ascendancy Tour is now with us. It kicked off last night in Cardiff and I'm going to see them tomorrow at the Hydro in Glasgow. And this is a band that have felt like I've kind of followed from the start of their career. I know they were formed late in 1998 under the name Jeff Killed John, and then when they signed to Sony on a 5-album deal in 2002, they changed their name to Bullet For My Valentine. So the first time that I saw Bullet For My Valentine was in October 2004. They were actually supporting 36 Crazy Fists and 18 Visions at the garage in Glasgow. And that was at a time when I used to go and see most of the support bands because there wasn't internet at that time, or it was just in the verge of sort of getting introduced. So I used to go and see a lot of the support bands because that was about the only way that you would get into sort of new bands. I was really into the kind of screaming element of music at that time. Bands like 36 Crazy Fists, who were there to see, also a trio, and I was into Thursday, bands that had a lot of the kind of screaming element to it, or unclean vocals, as I have learned that it's been called. So that's where you've got somebody that's singing the clean or melodic type of vocals, and then you've got someone else coming in with the growling or the screaming in the background. I really kind of like that kind of aggressive nature of things. That struck a chord. As I say, they only did maybe 4 or 5 songs because they were third on, but I remember saying to my mate Andy, I says, "Look, this is a band to watch." I says, "Let's try and see where they're playing again next." And we didn't need to wait too long. It was only another couple of months until December when they were supporting a trio in Every Time I Die, and I think that was at King Tut's. Again, they were third on, and yeah, they didn't disappoint again. I remember just hearing, the kind of catchy melodic choruses and the screaming lyrics, and obviously they were playing songs that were to be on the album The Poison. So I looked for a CD to pick up from them and went into HMV, and I got what was to become their first EP. It's just got five tracks on it. This cost me £7 out of HMV. It's got Hand of Blood, Cries in Vain, Curses, No Control, and Just Another Star. So elements to like Just Another Star and Hand of Blood that struck a chord with me. I just really liked that screaming element to it, and the kind of chorusy jump about bit of Just Another Star. It was just something that I hadn't heard too much, and was keen to see more of them. So we got to see them in 2005. They played the Barfly in Glasgow. It was only £7, such a small venue, but quickly they rose to prominence. It was clear that their music was catching the eye, and it sort of took off from there. So we went down to, that was my first download in 2005. When I was 28, we went down there. I think that was the first year it had been changed under the new reconstruction, where it was like a 3-day event instead of just the 1 day. And we saw them play in, I think it was the Snickers Bowl or something. We also saw, incidentally, Trivium that year, who'd been pumped up the bill, and quite ironic, that the two bands that are playing in the Poisoned Ascendancy Tour were there, but on different stages. So yeah, their popularity, grew immensely, and it was 2006, the following year, that they were supporting Guns N' Roses, albeit the Guns N' Roses with Axl and everybody else thrown in, not the Guns N' Roses with Slash and Duff McKagan, etc. But yeah, that was just a sort of shown just how popular they'd become in such a short space of time. And then that obviously coincided with them releasing the Poison album. It was at a time, they caught my eye because there was quite a lot of Welsh bands coming out at that time. I was heavily into Funeral for a Friend. They came a bit earlier, sort of 2002, 2003. They had the breakthrough Casually Depressed and Deep in Conversation album. And again, I liked the fact that it had your kind of clean melodic choruses and then the growling, snarling, shouting in the background. And also I was into Lost Prophets. That was another band at the time that became really popular. And so yeah, you had the three of those bands really, on the music scene in Cardiff, bigging it up for the Welsh bands. So I've seen Bullet For My Valentine, I think about 16 times in total. That's including appearances at seen them at Download and a Taste of Chaos events and Kerrang, NME Awards tour, etc. around about Glasgow. I've also saw them through in the Corn Exchange through in Edinburgh. We stayed over one night because they weren't playing a Glasgow date and it was just through in Edinburgh. So I do feel like I kind of followed their progress. Obviously it was great. The Poison album was brilliant, and then followed that up with Scream Aim Fire 3 years later, which was a good album. And then the Fever album 2010, I think that's a really good album. I wouldn't have minded if they made it a 15 year anniversary playthrough of that album, but maybe in 5 years time we'll get a playthrough of that album because that deserves it and that's a really good album. Then there was Temper Temper, and then 2015 we had the Venom album, which I think is really underestimated. I really like that album. It kind of for me it's a bit of a nod back to like the Poison, the way the album's kind of structured. After that, to be honest, I don't really care much for the Gravity album. I think that was really disappointing. There's not really anything that's note for that album that I like. I know that Matt was going through a divorce, I think, at that time, or a separation from his wife, and I think that's probably reflected in some of the songs in that album. And then the self-titled Bullet For My Valentine album from a couple of years ago, I maybe just haven't listened to that enough, but I'm not a fan of that at the moment. I know they've tried to sort of go back to being like a lot harder on that kind of album, but to be honest, the Bullet For The Valentine that I fell in love with is the melodic choruses, the kind of screaming along, the shouting, and a lot of the songs are structured that they'll have the melodic choruses, and then with about a minute or a minute and a half to go, you've normally got a 30 to 45 minute solo kicking in. What I like about Bullet For My Valentine as well is, like, if you hear them play on the radio or whatever, you instinctively know that it's Bullet For My Valentine. They have that kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but there's like just a distinctive riff at the end of the guitars that just kind of, that wee riff, just like, it comes to prominence if you listen to their cover that they did of Sanitarium on the Kerrang Master of Puppets Metallica cover album. You can see that they really made that song their own with the wee riffs that they have in it. And also there's quite a lot of times the drums in their songs will be constructed and it's a kind of chuttling like that, and then breaks into the big choruses and comes back with a melodic riff. So yeah, super excited to see this gig tomorrow because it was 5 years since I've last seen Bullet For My Valentine. I do have a nice signed cover of the Scream Aim Fire single that they released, and that's signed, and I'm looking forward to getting my hands on some merch tomorrow. I'm definitely on the lookout for the Poisoned Ascendancy t-shirt. Hopefully the cover in the front that they were advertising for the gig and the dates in the background, something like that would go down really nice. I had a t-shirt that I loved to death. I'll put some photos up. That had this white t-shirt which had a woman lying in it with the skull and the roses growing through it. I actually liked it so much that I had two of them. I wore one to death and it had holes in it, and then I bought another one, and I have never seen this one since. I've searched everywhere in Google Images and all sorts of different shops, and I can't find another one of this t-shirt anywhere. So I'm a bit gutting that I don't actually have a Bullet For My Valentine t-shirt. So I'm on the lookout for a couple of t-shirts tomorrow, and when I do a review of the gig, I'll hopefully be sporting one. So yeah, I've seen them like 2005, 2010, 2011 and 2013 at the Download festivals. I liked them so much that in 2010, when AC/DC were headlining, we went and saw Bullets, who were headlining the second stage, and because we were just into them. So like, yeah, AC/DC don't play there too often, but you know, we were Bullets fans and we were really into them, and so we went and followed them. So yeah, I do feel quite privileged that, as I say, I kind of feel that I've been there from the beginning, just when nobody knew about them, to playing this small venues, third in the bill at King Tut's in the garage, and then seeing them at Barfly. I do really feel like I've got not a claim to fame, but I do feel like I've kind of been there and seen them rise up and get bigger. Okay, so now for some of my top 7 Bullet For My Valentine songs, and the first one I've got to get in there is from the EP that was first released, and that's Just Another Star. This is only about 2 minutes and 50 seconds long. The reason that I'm putting this in here is it was one of the songs that definitely brought them to my attention. Just that snarling. You had the bassist that was actually singing most of the growling lyrics on it, and Matt coming in for the chorus. Just the snarling, this is what I see through my eyes, and then the coming in with the jump, 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 jump. It was a good sing along, and then the guitars coming in, it was really catchy, just really catchy. As I say, having never heard them before and heard that, it was just something about it made you want to nod your head and get into it. So Just Another Star, that is definitely in there for me. Number 6, Breaking Point. So that's off the Temper Temper album, and that is another sort of classic nod to Bullet For My Valentine. Everything that I like about them. Kind of melodic, sing-along chorus, and then pulls away for a guitar solo. About a minute and a half left on the track. Again, it comes snarling back in with Matt saying, "Rips an eye for an eye, rips an eye for an eye," and comes back with the chorus part on it, and yeah, just really good opening. I think it was the opening song off Temper Temper, and I think that album's kind of massively underrated. I know it got a lot of stick at the time, but there's quite a lot of good wee songs in that. Not as good as Fever or the Poison, but or Scream Aim Fire album, but still probably an underrated album, and definitely better than Gravity or the latest album in my opinion. Okay, number 5 is Army of Noise, and that's off the Venom album. I think that's a really underrated album. I know myself that basically I hadn't listened to it maybe too much until like a few months ago, and started listening to it a lot more. There's a really load of songs on that, really good, and Army of Noise is one of those. I think there's kind of elements to like Avenged Sevenfold through it in terms of the guitar and some of the riffs that are on it. Again, it has that nice chorus element, and then it pulls away to like solos towards the end of it before coming back to the chorus, and say for that reason I'm putting that in there. Number 4, got to be 4 Words to Choke Upon. That, just the way that song starts with the kind of the noise where it's just like building, you know, you can see everybody that's there watching. That's normally where they're opening up like a mosh pit or something when you hear that noise, you know that song's coming on. Again, you've got the chugging, the thundering of the guitars and the kind of screaming of "Look at me now." 4 Words to Choke Upon, "Look at me now," the snarling of that, and it's everything that I love about Bullet. As I said it already here, just the kind of sing along chorus, and then the snarling, the kind of real aggressiveness in it, just like that. Number 3, I'm going to have Her Voice Resides in there. It's obviously, well, it's like the first real song off of the Poison album, but it's number 2 in the album track after there's like a minute's intro. But wow, see if you listen to that and shuffle and that just comes on, it's just like that right in your ears, just the way it comes on. Remember, like, woof, like, again, it's, as I say, it's got that loud screaming just at the start, and then it kicks in and follows the format that I like about their songs, and breaks away to the choruses and then guitar solos, etc. So Her Voice Resides is in there. It was torn between that and I do love Suffocating Under Words of Sorrow. I think I like those two kind of the same, and to be honest, it could have been either of those that stick in there. Number 2, I like Begging for Mercy. I like that's like track 10 or something off of the Fever album. Again, just the way that starts with the snarling and the screaming of it, it's just like really kind of right up there. I like that aggressiveness of that, and singing along chorus to it. So Begging for Mercy is in there for me. And then I'm not trying to be predictable or whatever just because this has a terrific video on it, but Tears Don't Fall, because it's obviously one of the most watched songs that they have, and it's a cracking video, filmed like out in the rain. If you watch it, pouring down on them and the guitar solos playing in the background, and yeah, there's a true story about this. We used to go. 2007, I was on holiday in Ibiza, and we went to the rock bar up the stairs in the West End in San Antonio. It was the only place that would play any kind of resemblance of rock music. We got friendly with the DJ, and each night we used to go in and I would ask for Last Summer by Lost Prophets, and my mate would ask for Enter Sandman by Metallica. And we get talking to the DJ, and I talked him into letting me bring along the Poison album one night, and he'd never heard of Bullet For My Valentine, and I got him to put on Tears Don't Fall. Obviously, you know the song, so it starts off really quiet, dun, 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 and then Matt screams, "Let's go!" Well, he snarls it, he goes, "Let's go!" And when that came on in the club, he was like, "Oh my god," and reached for like the controls to turn the music down and stuff. So he didn't let me play it again after that. But yeah, that's a really good song. Again, just over halfway through when it cuts away to one of the solos on that, it's just a really good point in that song. And yeah, Tears Don't Fall for me. But as I say, it's not exclusively like my top 7. They do sort of interchange, and you know, songs like Hand of Blood and Your Betrayal, Waking the Demon are all tracks that I really love as well, but it is mainly kind of from the first 5 albums. So yeah, that's about it. So let me know how you get into Bullet For My Valentine. How many times have you seen them? As I say, it's tomorrow night. I'll be going to that at the Glasgow Hydro venue, so super excited for that. And I will record some clips from it because I don't actually have really any footage from seeing Bullet For My Valentine through all these years, apart from a couple of videos which I screen recorded off of over the TV and put them in my channel and get a ticking off from YouTube for copyright. But hey ho, it's my channel and it's my recollection of them. So do what I want, YouTube. So yeah, until next time, if you're going to the gig, enjoy it. Speak to you later. See ya.